Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today is July 17th, 2022, Sunday afternoon, and the Morgellons Call of the Week. We're so glad to be here. And I'm Robin, the co-host, and Richard Kuhns is the host, the author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites, the world's leading expert on Morgellons, in my opinion. He has been in the trenches with us. He has gone through it. He has, through trial and error over 2 years, created the King Diet, which I personally believe it starves parasites out of your body. I mean, we don't know exactly why it works. That's just my interpretation. But Richard is here every Sunday. He answers questions. He answers emails. He keeps updating his book and researching. And, you know, the medical profession has failed us. Doctors don't know how to treat it. Scientists don't know how to figure out what it is, but we have proven answers that work, and that's the bottom line. And so I just would like to introduce Richard Kuhns to you guys.
Thank you, Robin. Welcome, everybody. I'm very happy to be here, very happy to be alive. I thought my life was over back in the 90s from these organisms. I was certain they were going to be the end of my life, but fortunately, I prevailed and discovered the diet, and I'm here today. And as Robin noted, the diet is the crux of this program. I don't make any bones about it. The diet is completely free. My book in ebook form is completely free. All the information, I just wish back in the 90s, I just wish I would have had somebody I could have talked to, or a program like this that I could have tuned into and gotten some guidance. I just wish it was there, but it wasn't. And, well, fortunately, I got here. And along the path, I had the misfortune of dealing with springtails, columbella, which themselves can be one of the world's worst aggravating parasites that you can imagine. Morgellons, which is, like I've mentioned, as the king of disease, very powerful. Well, actually, if you look at a chessboard, the king is the most important, but not the most powerful. And we did a segment on that a few weeks ago. I have almost been destroyed by chronic Lyme disease. Strongyloides cervicalis was in the mix of the things I dealt with. And even hot tub rash popped into my life for a period of time. So I've been through it all, and I'm here 100%. I eat everything I want, anytime I want, with, you know, some restrictions. You know, I don't go nuts and eat things on stage 3 that on a daily basis. Today's topic, is Jan with us? Chris, do you know if Jan is with us?
Yes, she's here.
Fantastic. Well, Jan is one of the people who have been in the program, and I don't know, I wasn't listening to Robin during the introduction, but she often says that each of you are my research team. And that is very true. I brought to the table the diet, and it's strict. You make that diet work, and you go from itching and biting sensations 24/7, being awakened at 3 a.m. with them in your nose and your private parts, and being driven into a tub. Back then, it was scalding hot water. For me, it was the only relief I could get, basically, practically scalding. And you go from that, and when this diet, when you make it work, and for many it works just by doing it. Others have, we did a segment last week about the importance of the importance of keeping a diary and discovering any specific sensitivities you have. But when you make the diet work, you go from all that aggravation to sleeping through the night and saying, hey, I'm almost human again. I feel human again. That's powerful. And as Robin said, we don't know why. I suspect that somehow, as we've come along in our research and discovery, we have noticed that dopamine in the brain seems to have the dopamine uptake of the brain seems to have some relationship with parasitic activity. And as we reduce the dopamine uptake in the brain, then the parasitic activity actually diminishes dramatically. So it may simply be that everything on the diet for most of us contributes to reducing dopamine uptake in the brain. And that's what makes it work, perhaps. That's just a guess. I don't really know. But when it kicks in, it's like the organisms are put into a trance state, and they're in la-la land, and you're in happy land. That's how powerful it is. So Jan has experience in with our products and our protocol and our diet, and she has volunteered to share it with us today. And now, before I introduce her and before I forget, I need to be in compliance with the FDA and the AMA, and to inform everybody that the FDA requires me to inform everyone that before you start the King Diet, before you accept any of our recommendations, you discuss them thoroughly with your doctor. Now, recommendations, there's a questionnaire, and if you complete it and send it in to me, I will evaluate it and give you a detailed set of recommendations. You can also do it yourself by reading through the book and pulling the information out of the book, set up your own set of recommendations, but it's good to have another eye on it. And so those are detailed recommendations. So you thoroughly discuss them with your doctor to make sure that nothing there will interfere with any health problems that you're presently experiencing. The AMA also requires me to inform you that none of us, Robin, Ethel, Anna, Nick, none of us are licensed physicians. All right, and only licensed physicians are allowed to diagnose, treat, or cure, or mitigate any organic disease. So I am not here to treat, diagnose, or cure, or mitigate any disease, okay? Skin disease, that's not what we're here for. The FDA has not evaluated any of our statements also. So, again, what can we do? What is left? Well, what is left is really important, and that is education. So we can educate you how to utilize the King Diet for your benefit. We can educate you how to clean the organisms out of your environment, because by the time you have figured out or discovered that you have these skin parasites, whether it be Morgellons or springtails or, well, you are a walking, talking, breeding parasite machine. And everywhere you go, in your house, in your automobile, in your workspace, anywhere you go socially, your body is shedding these organisms. Springtails actually jump off of you, and they can jump onto other people. Well, that's a topic that we've discussed several times in the past. But so the goal is to clean your environment, because they're all over your environment. They're in your bedding, they're in your clothing, they are in your bathroom, they are in your sinks. They are everywhere. They're in your automobile. They're at your workspace. Oftentimes, it's even important to go outside of your home in the area and also clean them out of the environment. So that's another important thing. We can educate you, and chapter 3 of my book is about 50-some pages about cleaning them out of your environment and cleaning them out of your skin. Now, remember, if you have had these organisms and have been plagued with it for many years, I mean, we have many people that have been in this program and have been successful with it who have had the plague of these organisms for as long as 20 plus years. That's hell on earth for 20 years. So you can imagine if you've got these organisms in your skin for that length of time, well, they have inhabited layers deep. So it is important to clean all that stuff out, clean it out. And you can do that with scalding baths and Epsom salts and things like that and borax. But along has come our amazing product called Nature's Gift Debriding Soap, which is phenomenal. In fact, that how it works is it is angstrom size. Now, many people, when we're talking about Morgellons, think nanobots, nano. And they get scared of anything that's tiny. And they think, well, it's a nano kind of thing, so that means it's not good for you. If it's a, well, nanobot, nano is an indication of size in terms of microns, maybe a couple hundred microns in size. That's a nano. Well, we go beyond that. We go to angstrom. We go to element. We go to the elemental carbon, liquid carbon. No combination, just one little tiny carbon atom, 6 angstroms in size, floating in a suspension that we dilute, put into our bathtub, and this little tiny carbon atom goes deep into your skin and hydrates your skin because it is a surfactant. A surfactant breaks down the water clumping characteristics, so water is H2O instead of H20O10. You know, what am I talking about, clumping? Well, if you go and you have a cup of water and you put carefully a needle on top of it, it will float. That is the clumping aspect of water. Now, when you add Nature's Gift to it, one little drop and that needle sinks right to the bottom because it anti-clumps water so that it's H2O, which is 3 angstroms in size, which goes deep into your skin. Now, what does it do there? Well, for instance, say most of us are at least 100 pounds. You weigh 100 pounds, right, Robin?
Yep.
Okay, so what happens if you're walking and you get a tiny little pebble in your shoe? What do you have to do?
Take your shoe off.
And get rid of that damn pebble, right? It irritates you. You don't like walking with that little pebble there, right? Now, that pebble only weighs probably 2 or 3 grams, and you're 100 plus pounds. You could be 150 pounds or 200 pounds. It doesn't matter. That little tiny pebble has dictated your behavior. So this little tiny carbon atom, when it comes in contact with anything that doesn't belong, it irritates it. It will irritate bacteria, irritate fungus, irritate virus, irritate parasite to the point that they have to leave. They have to escape. They got to take a shoe off. They got to get out of your skin, in other words. So that's how Nature's Gift works. It irritates the organisms and cleans them out of your skin. So so that's the second thing. So we clean them out of the environment, we make the diet work, and we clean our skin. And then the last thing is, you know, after all these years, it would make sense, and it is, and it happens time and time again, that people's immune systems are totally wrecked. Their gut biome is wrecked. They're not healthy anymore. And so through targeted supplements that are completely compatible with the diet. So when you start the King diet, first thing you want to do is any supplements that you've been taking, put them in the back shelf, because I guarantee you that if you have a multiple vitamin in there, and most of what you've been taking, if you look at the ingredients, it is not compatible with what's on the King diet. And everything we have in our store, I'm happy to say, is totally compatible with the King diet. So you put those supplements away. And through targeted supplements that have come to us through discovery over the last 20 years, we boost glutathione, we have minerals and vitamins and supplements that boost health and immune functioning and help diminish candida, fungal organisms, and all kinds of things, and rebuild gut biome so you get your health back. And time again, people who've gotten through this program, who work with it, make the diet work, will tell me that they are healthier when they come to the end of the path, healthier and happier than they were even before the parasites came into their lives. So it's an opportunity. So and when we look at stress management in another segment, we see that when you bring these parasites into our lives, it is totally disrupting. And a lot of emotions, frustration, aggravation, depression, and so forth. And it's actually an opportunity. I mean, every one of us have choices. We can, when we realize what's happened to us, we can make the choice of being depressed, plowed under with life, or use it as an opportunity to grow and learn and benefit. That's our choice, and that's what our stress management segment is about, where you bring that frustration, aggravation, depression, and upsets and confusion and turn it into a call to action, where you get your life back and you master your life. Because these are nothing but organisms. Nothing but organisms. And you can get them out of your life. We don't have to know where they come from, what they've been doing, who brought them here, whether they came from chemtrails. Well, we don't care. We know what to do to get our lives back. And that's what is important. Wouldn't you agree, Robin?
Absolutely.
So we don't get into taking pictures. You know, people, they send me, many of us get into these microscopes you can buy on Amazon. You can even record the organisms and whatever, and taking samples and going to the doctors. Hey, please, don't send me pictures. Don't send me samples. Never. Don't take them to your doctor. If you want, that takes a lot of time to do this. It takes a lot of time to collect these samples and stuff. And forget about it. Read the book. Read the book. Make the diet work. Get progress. Don't stay stuck in, my analogy would be, it's like quicksand. If you're into that kind of thinking and into that kind of obsession, you're in quicksand. You're not going to get out. You need to read the book. You need to put this program into play, and that's what we're here about. It is not just ABC. Well, it is ABC, but it's A1, A2, A3, A4, B1, B2, B3, B4. There are parts to it, and when it can be overwhelming, and when you make it work. And that's why we're here, because we recognize it can be overwhelming. And the questions we like to have from you are about what you read in the book and how to make the diet work. Those are the kinds of questions we like. We don't want questions about, well, did you hear about this on Facebook? Did you see that? Did you, okay. No. This is a working program about this particular protocol that has worked hundreds, if not thousands of times for hundreds, if not thousands of people. So let's open the line to Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
I'm glad you can share your experience with us. Now, tell us briefly, how long have you been dealing with parasites? When did they come into your life? How did you know? What did you do? What kinds of research did you do? Tell me a little bit about your experience with physicians and so forth. Give us a little background.
Okay. Well, it's been almost probably 3 years. But how this happened was that we have, where we live, there are a lot of trees. We're like in a forest almost. And there was a man that was spraying, it's a townhome community around outside we have a really large patio. The whole side of the home is glass. It's just the trees you're just part of nature here, which there's a lot of parasites out there. And we did have a freeze last year. But so anyway, this man, he was spraying for bugs around the property. Well, our gate was open, and he just stepped in and started spraying for us. My husband's on the board. Everyone knows my husband, and he probably thought, well, you know, Paul will appreciate this. He drove thousands of bugs into our patio because he's coming from all of this jasmine growth and all, you know, everything outside the patio door into us. Bugs came leaping through these tiny little gaps somehow into our home.
So let me just, so he's spraying to get rid of these organisms, but they're trying to escape that, and he's pushing them to your house.
Yeah, exactly. And what we found out, they had a lot of things outside around the beds, the flower beds, and that was holding in bugs. Instead of like they would like make big beds of leaves around the flower bed and the plants outside, and that holds in all the, you know, so many bugs. So since that time we've had those removed on the whole property. They said, well, it saves money for mulch. Well, it also gave me a disease, because I've never seen so many different kinds of bugs in my life. And there was one about 3 inches long, and it was shaped like if you've seen like an animal rug with its paws out. It had paws, P-A-W-S, paws for its feet, and I tried to pull it off of my body, and I tried to cut it in two. It was like trying to cut a thick piece of bacon. It wouldn't even cut.
So
there's things out there.
This bug had latched onto your skin?
It was on the front of my leg, which is, you know, such a tender place right there onto the bone.
Really?
And
now, how did it happen? Were you just walking in the area and you noticed it?
I'm just in my home, and I looked down. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know.
Okay.
And I literally, with everything that I could not get this off of me, and to try to pull it up, it would hurt so bad. So I'm so used to pain at this point now, because I got a knife and I pried it up, and then I got scissors. Had a hard time cutting it in half. It was so thick, like a bristle, like bacon. This came from outside my patio door here.
Wow.
And so anyway, I went through a long stage in a healing process of trying to get these off of my body, and it kind of transitioned from that into a Morgellons-looking pattern on my legs. And I was ordering things from Amazon, and Amazon sent me so many emails saying that they want that because I'm a business that I should take the discount because I was a business. They thought I was a business. I'm just someone ordering everything I can to try to find different soaps, different things to try to get these bugs, to heal these bugs off on me, because now I'm into Morgellons stage at this point.
So now, what symptoms did you have? Itching and biting and stuff like that?
Oh, my God. Oh yeah. When it became more severe into itching, it's the same. Just luckily enough, one thing, I've had migraine headaches for a long time, and a pill that the brilliant doctor neurologist gave me was Doxepin. So a side effect of Doxepin is that you don't have to feel itching. So I had that in my body so strong that I was like, I don't know why everyone is so upset about this itching. I'm not itching that much. Well, it eventually became, got that way. And I would just have to sit up in bed at night, and I just kind of would rock. Just rocking myself to sleep. I couldn't be still. So I would just go back and forth, just sitting in bed. And my husband would just, he got used to it. Just, I couldn't go to sleep, and I would just sit up, and I was sleep deprived. Mentally, my nerves would just pop constantly. My body would just kind of jerk and pop, and mentally it was so spaced out, and I could lose my temper so easy. It was just raw. I felt raw.
You lived on edge. Yeah, it's like the straw. Anything was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and you would be explosive. What kind of experience did you have going to doctors?
Oh gosh, well, we all know what I'm going to say. I probably, I think I went to maybe nine or 10 doctors. There was, and of course, the first one I went into, first of all, these doctors now that used to take care of skin conditions now just want to plump your lips, give you some Botox, and send you on your way. And, that's how they make their living now, because we're so fascinated with staying younger. And so I know they know about these bugs. I know they know about this. We know about it. They've been they know a lot more than we know about infections and parasites and all that. But they don't want any bugs in their place. And unfortunately, the first one we went to was this beautiful woman, and it was like walking into this luxurious salon. I mean, it was like, gorgeous place. It wasn't like a doctor's office at all. And she just had her arms crossed and stood across the room, and she said, well, we don't deal with that here, and we don't, there's no such thing. I don't know anything about that. She said, but I will send you to...
You didn't take samples with you, did you?
No.
Okay.
Well, just my body. That was, the biggest sample I could have. But, so she sent me to a doctor. She said, he even has a bug collection. Well, so that was the second. Well, that was about the third one that I went to, and he was such a disappointment. But he did say it was Morgellons.
Oh, really?
He did say it was Morgellons, but it was really strange because I was in this little paper dress thing, but he never touched me or really looked at my body. And I asked him, I said, why am I in this paper dress if you're not even going to look at what I'm telling you? So he was totally useless. And I went to him one more time, and I think that he was my biggest disappointment. I really kind of was scared. I lost hope, and I knew that I had no one. I had nothing. I had my husband who would do anything for me. I had I could go and purchase whatever I could purchase, but I didn't have anyone that knew that wanted to help me.
Was your husband affected by them too? Are you using a speakerphone, or are you on the regular phone?
I'm on a speaker. I'm on my iPhone.
Yeah, but you're not on the speaker. Are you on the speakerphone?
Yes. Do you want me to get off of it?
Yeah. Can you go off of the speakerphone and go right onto the phone?
I'm sorry.
Is your husband equally affected by these organisms?
He had a lot of bites on him from whenever they were driven into our patio, the herd of bugs. And and he dealt with that, but then he was done with it. I mean, he was over it. He is totally different from me. He does not have Morgellons. And I don't know, it's just amazing, and it's just really curious to me to see what I'm going through, and then you see someone that is not affected at all with it, but he understands. I mean, he had a lot of bites from all of the bugs coming into our home, but he doesn't have them around him like I do.
Right. So you're dramatic. He was minimally affected, and you're dramatically affected by the same exposure.
Yes.
And we often find that happening. Great. So, have you been diagnosed by any doctors as being delusional?
Yes, I have. Recently, I had my eyes became. I know I've had bugs in my eyes before. You just kind of like you put some regular eye drops from the store in your eyes, but I just couldn't get rid of them. So I went to a doctor, and it's just, I don't know where all the doctors are in Houston now. It's just it was hard to get an appointment. It was hard to find this doctor. And he walked in, and I thought, I'm just going to slip in there, say something about parasites and just see what he thinks. I said, I think I saw parasites in my eyes. And he walked in and he was real busy, really rushing, and all of a sudden he and the nurse both stopped, dead stopped, and turned and looked at me. He said, well, I've had patients that were delusional in my office before and asked them to leave because you do not have parasites in your eyes. Now,
he was certain. Okay.
Are you here for parasites in your eyes? And they looked at me. They were getting ready to leave the room, and I went, oh, no, I don't have parasites in my eyes. I just wanted the cream or whatever, from him to get this out of my eyes. So he continued on, and he gave me 3 prescriptions and a refill on each one, and really nothing was getting to it. Nothing was getting in there and getting to it. It would help for a minute, a short period of time, and then it was scaring me because I could see, honestly, it looked like I had a black eye. It was affecting my entire eye. My face changed. It changed the shape of my eye. And so I had put debriding soap in my eye with a dropper, and that really, really burned my eyes.
Yeah, let's come back to that in a little while, because that's going to be our main focus is your experience in cleaning your eye. So you've been diagnosed as being delusional. So, how did you find my protocol or my book? How did you find that?
Richard, it's really, sometimes I just sit and I try to remember. I was talking to this about to my husband because I got the Morgellons diagnosed by this flaky doctor, and so Morgellons, what is Morgellons? And so I was on Amazon and I put in Morgellons, and it said get your life back. And so I clicked on, and there were 3 books on Morgellons. And the ones that are on Amazon. They're the doctors that use the...
Dr. Satterley.
Yeah. And I ordered all the books. And so, but when I got your book, I started reading, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to help me. This is it. This makes sense. I mean, everything that you were saying described exactly what I was going through, and I just felt a connection, and I knew that I was on the right path. And then days later, I get an email, and it says, I'm here to support you, Jan. And it's from Richard, and he's talking about the conference call. And I just broke down and sobbed that you were there to support me and that I was important enough to you that you got probably a list of whoever bought your book, and you came after me to help me. And so I'm still blown away. I really am, and grateful. And so I reading the book, and then I got on the conference call, and then that's when that got me in this program on the diet, on cleaning my home, and it turned my life upside down for good. And everything that you said was so true. Listening to you, and it's like if there's anyone that begins this program, and if you cheat and do something that you know you shouldn't do, you're going to pay for it. And so it's just an unbelievable thing how it can stop. And so I was reading the book and the conference calls, and I got in a really good place. I mean, my legs were healed. Believe it or not, that great big bug that was on the front of my leg, it's still a nodule. It came down, moved down to around my ankle. It's still with me. There's still a thing down there for that bug. But at that point, I really had some serious lesions. I was in full-blown Morgellons disease, and I didn't know it until I got your book. So I guess the doctor did the best thing. He gave me a piece. He didn't even say anything. He just handed me the paper. He didn't even say, I'm diagnosing you with Morgellons. He didn't even take that step to say. I just got home and I opened up a piece of paper in my hand. I went, Morgellons. So that's how it all started, by accident, really, with this doctor.
How long did it take you to make the diet work for you?
It just was like magic to me. And it took maybe within 2 weeks, I was not waking up in the middle of the night. I did not have the biting, the itching, and all that. And so when that goes away, then it takes body, mind, and spirit to heal our bodies. I mean, not just from the outside, but we have work to do on the inside to heal. So I was able to get my wits about me. I was able to be able to think, to make a plan, to go to the store, to think to read what I was learning, and just kind of to breathe. The ability to sit down and relax and just say, oh my God, I know I found help now. I'm going to be okay. God sent me, got your book to me in this way, and I will say, it's been horrific, but I in many ways, I'm much healthier today. I'm a strong, powerful woman, and there is nothing that is going to get me down. I'm going to win this battle, and when I found you, I knew I was going to win this battle. It's just that you have. I don't know if everyone is like this in the beginning, but you start doubting in the beginning. Do you hear that? I mean, it's just like, well, I don't know. Do I really have to just do that exact thing, that exactly, or could I just have a Coke and then drink a bunch of water later or something? So you go through these phases, and then I got slammed down really hard. Because there's sugar in everything. And on a conference call, you and Robin were discussing, sugar and salt, that there's sugar in bacon, there's sugar in everything. And so I had bought up, my husband brought home this water. Now I'm thinking that he's reading labels like I do. One thing, you cannot rely on anyone but yourself to read that label to know what you're putting in your body. So you have to be careful, because he is not going through the pain I'm going through. It wouldn't, so he doesn't know how I would suffer if there was sugar. There was sugar in the water that I purchased.
Sugar in water. Wow.
Sugar in the water.
Sweet water.
No, I promise you, because you said something, Richard, one day. You said, gosh, you had eaten something, and it was just so good that it made you kind of wonder, is it really, you sure there's not sugar in that or something? You know, it made you curious why it was just so great, because it's hard to find food like when sugar was in it that good. Mm-hmm. So I something told me, I mean, God spoke to me. I went downstairs, I pulled out one of the waters, I took a picture, enlarged it with my phone, and it's 35 something sugar. And
wow.
I just started crying. I just started sobbing because it had just torn me down so bad. So at that point, I'm still with you. I'm on the conference calls. I thought I was doing everything right, and then I realized I need to step back. And God said, be still and listen. And so I didn't talk on the conference calls. I didn't want to speak. I just listened to all of the beautiful people sharing their stories, learning from them. Gosh, it's so remarkable, to hear people share. If you have a question, or if I can learn something from your question. Maybe it's something I needed to know. So, this is just a safe place to be, to discuss this with people who know exactly what you're going through, and they understand what you're saying, and you're not going to be made fun of, and you're not going to be doubted about anything that you say. So that really was upsetting to realize that water was really good. So I'm guzzling that water.
Sweet water.
I told my husband, I said, God, I'm so glad you got this water. I mean, I would leave it in the refrigerator and drink it. I would just guzzle that water. He goes, you're doing so good drinking water.
How many times have you read the book? How often do you refer to the book?
Oh, every day. I have the book. I have two books, one upstairs and one downstairs. I got tired of going up and down, so I have one up and one down. And it's a lot of information. And, I was just reading Cleaning again this afternoon, earlier today, and so many things that I'd forgotten that, and that you go over and over and over. Having, I don't know, all of the products. I think the one thing that is the most solid truth I can speak is that the safest place to buy anything is in the store. The supplements in the store. Anything that you put on your body, the shampoo, the soaps, everything. It's just a safe place to shop. And, I had I was really out of debriding soap. And I know, Chris, that there was a box coming that day. And so I thought, I really need to take a shower early. I'll just use, I have one other soap that I would use from CVS, and I had one from Amazon that I hung on to, and I had that program with the debriding soap. So I get in the shower, and I'm scrubbing, and the hot water, scalding me. I'm scrubbing, it's foamy. I feel like I'm having a good shower. It's a lot of work, these showers. It's a lot of work. And so then I get dressed, and I sit on my bed. I look down. I can clearly see parasites on my body easily. Looking down in 1 second, I'm going, oh my gosh. And so, see, no one understands if they haven't been through this, how you feel inside. So you have to take that in consideration. If people aren't saying what you want them to say or feeling what you want them to feel, you have to give them some space there. But I was just like, that box is coming. I know, Chris, that box will come today. It should be here within 3 more hours. And I'm literally pacing the floor, waiting for the box. And then my schnauzer, she has this unbelievable hearing. So I'm upstairs. When she starts barking, I know the box has been dropped in front of my door. I'm running down the stairs, open the door, rip the box open with my bare hands. Didn't have a knife or anything. I just hope no one could see me because I probably looked like I was insane. I grabbed the debriding soap. I rush up to the shower. I do another shower, and have the debriding soap, and come out, and I'm clean. My body's clean. I don't have any bugs on me. I don't have anything, and my mind was clean. You know, your mind is peaceful, and so the debriding soap is just the thing that has saved me. It has been my doctor. It has been my friend. I mean, when I need something. And so, naturally, whenever I had this in my eyes, I'm thinking, you know.
Just for clarity, I want to confirm something. You and I have never talked. You and I have never talked before, have we?
Oh no, just I've been on the call.
Yeah. Aside from.
No.
Yeah, we have never talked or anything, or we've not rehearsed this. I mean, this is your pure experience.
No, we have never. I've never talked to you about this experience. I'm sure I've been on and said something about whatever the topic was.
Right. Okay. Well, it's incredible. What you shared. Now, the topic of the day is the eye, and you were starting a little bit earlier about that. You had these parasites in your eyes. To what degree did they affect your eye?
I mean, it became extremely serious because I think I'm jumping around because I started talking about the eye doctor. So I'm sorry, people. But so I after I got through with the eye doctors, he gave me 3 prescriptions. It's still really bad, and it's alarming at this point. My eye is just blood red. I mean, and before at this point, looking in my mirror, I could see these tiny white bugs walking in and out of my eye. My eyeball. I can see them going into the corner of my eye, like they're going in shopping or something, and another one's coming out, and another one was going in. So they're literally living a life.
You had a hotel going on there.
I had a condo in my eye.
Yeah.
I don't know what was, how does this happen? How do they get there? How do they do this? But, they're biting, when it's itching, they're biting you. And so this is in your eye, the most sensitive place possible. And so I'm thinking, I've been through the ointments, I've been through all of this stuff, and one you keep in the refrigerator, and you take that one, and then you have to wait a while, then you put the other one in, and then you put this other thing in after so long. So I was kind of exhausted, and I thought, you know what, to hell with this. I'm getting the debriding soap.
You didn't try the sweet water in your eye, did you?
Did what?
You didn't try the sweet water in your eye, did you?
Very funny, Richard. Very funny. And as I recall, you made fun of my water when I told you I had drinking this alkaline water, and you made fun of it then. And right then, I should have known.
Oh, it was alkaline water. Wow, over $2 a bottle for that stuff, and you could say
he couldn't resist. He couldn't resist saying it again.
and all you gotta do is use the coral calcium, and it's $2 a day for all that you drink, or $1 a day. Yeah, $1 a day, less than that.
I know. I know. Right. And here we go again, back to the store.
Yeah. So, okay, back to the eye. Back to the eye. We have this hotel with organisms coming in and out of your eye.
Okay.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm thinking, what has never let me down is debriding soap. What do they hate the most is debriding soap. So I get my debriding soap. I put 3 drops, like you just turn it upside down, 1, 2, 3 drops in the palm of my hand. I make my other water in my other hand, and I put that, and I'm just kind of working the water around that. And so then I just place that around my eye. It didn't even burn. It didn't even burn me. It didn't hurt at all. And I just keep rinsing and rinsing and rinsing and rinsing. Well, then I look in the mirror. Well, yeah, you're not going to see any bugs at that point because I've just cleaned my eye with debriding soap. And I actually put straight debriding soap on my scalp washing my hair, so I'm not sensitive, overly sensitive, I guess, to the strength of debriding soap. I love the newer one now because it is so strong, and it can be diluted, and you save a lot of money on this new soap that you're selling now. That was your soap. So I just kept doing that. Every hour almost, or if something happened to where I felt something, and it just started clearing up. You get the bugs out, you keep them out, your body will heal. And that's why I love debriding soap. It allows my body to heal.
So you didn't use an eye wash cup with the debriding soap?
No, I just actually bought that on Amazon. I've never used it before, but I just happened to see it on Amazon, and it just came in.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this part of my cleansing program to clean my eyes out. I'm not going to wait until it's a problem. So if there's a few bugs in there, let's be real, there's going to be a few bugs in there. So I'm going to do this on like a daily basis. And if my eye feels kind of dry or something, I just stop for a while. You can just stop for a while if you want to, or just put drops in.
Mm-hmm.
They have these new drops that are like just a gel. So the gel sits in your eye longer, and so it benefits your eye better. And that's just over the counter. It's not a prescription. But it took the debriding soap to get the parasites out of my eye.
Did you say the first time you used the debriding soap, you used it too strong and it hurt your eye? It burned your eye? I thought.
Yeah. Because I'm really like, well, sometimes I just need to be, not do everything full blast. Just take it easy. I just got a dropper, and I just dropped a drop into my eye, and it really burned.
You dropped the concentrate into your eye?
Yes, concentrated drop.
No,
Not only that, but I did 2 more after that.
Oh.
And because it burned, I knew it was killing the bugs. It was extremely painful. But anyway, I got through that, and I knew I couldn't, that was too strong.
Yeah, that's what I would call drastic. So we never recommend full strength into your eye. That's for sure.
That's why I'm telling this, because you can put the drops of debriding soap in your hand and just, put a little water in that and splash it around, and you can tell by the strength how it feels in your eyes. And then I just kind of like put it into my eye. I wasn't trying to be careful. I was going over my eyelashes because I hate it when they're in my eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
And so really and truly, it was just the greatest feeling. That's really a big problem, is to feel like that your eyes are buggy. It's a horrible feeling, and that makes, you don't realize it, but my nervous system was taking a hit every time you blink or you put your finger, there's something in your eye, and then you can feel bugs under your eye. So I think it's really important to clean our eyes.
Did you have floaters? Did you have big floaters as well?
No, not really, no.
Okay. Because many, I know personally, I had at one point experienced floaters the size of Mack trucks, and many people do report them as well.
Wow.
But I was just wondering if you had them. Typically I recommend using an eye wash cup with saline water and 1 drop of Nature's Gift into it, and then wash your eye that way. Whatever works. That would be what I would say would be the safer way to avoid contamination from anything else. Well, that is so phenomenal, Jan. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on the call and share your experience. It's so insightful and so inspirational for other people on the call. And I welcome anybody on the call to share your experiences of success as well, because, unless you share it with us, we don't know. I get many emails about people being successful. So, great.
The second big problems with lesions and things, it came back again after drinking the sugar water. And right now, I want everyone to know I have nothing really live on my body at all. I have just some scarring that, some places that are healing. There's nothing on my body because of debriding soap right now that's a sore or a problem at all.
Great.
So
what I'd like to do, Jan, is I would like to open up the phone lines to everybody, and anybody who would like to ask a question of you.
Yes, thank you so much for providing this information, Jan and Richard and Chris and all of you. I've had a horrible experience with my cornea being scratched, and I'm healing from that, and I'm going to be having cataract surgery in the next couple of months. But the pain was just unbelievably difficult to bear, and I eventually had gone to an ophthalmologist here in Atlanta and addressed it, so it's been healing. But I feel strongly that, it's related to the mites. And I guess my question is, because, I'm very sensitive to everything, and I'm concerned about using, the debriding soap in my eye because of, my past experience. And the concern, of course, is if I was to do that, about how to make it sterile with the saline and, the eye cup. If you have any information to share, in addition, I'm grateful.
Well, basically, you get the eye cup and you get the saline water, so that's all sterile. And then if you're concerned about the strength of the debriding soap, you can use 1 drop of the 50%, or you can dilute that again. You can, if you have the 50% or the 100%, you could take a dropper and put maybe...
Try 1 drop. Maybe just 1 drop the first time.
Well, I would say even try half a drop. So you dilute it with distilled water and use, say, a half a drop if you're concerned about the strength, or even a quarter of a drop if you're concerned about the strength, and then work up to 1 drop. Do it that way. You can dilute it to whatever degree you want. And as far as the nature's gift being sterile, there's nothing going to live in it. And nothing. It is.
Okay, so thank you. Again, so the saline water I can purchase, I've never seen that. Is it on Amazon?
Any pharmacy. You can buy.
Oh, okay. So how much saline water then? How?
100%.
It's an eye cup.
Okay. Yeah, I've ordered an eye cup. So I fill the eye cup with the saline water, and then just do maybe like 1/4 of a drop of the debriding soap or something to try, or.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is take the concentrated and dilute it maybe 4 times. So you have So 1 drop is 1/4 of a drop of concentrate. Okay. Put that in the eye cup and then go from there.
Because I have the debriding soap, I have the super strength. So, okay, I'm trying to get my mind on this here so I don't mess up.
You take 1 drop. You take 1 drop of super strength. Add 4 drops of water to it. So that.
Okay, bear with me. I'm sorry. 1 drop of the
solution, not water.
Maybe more water. Just do it with more water the first time, and if you think that feels okay. Because just that alone is going to help wash just a little drop of debriding soap with more water is going to help you right there. And so
use saline, not water.
So dilute it with saline water. So you take 1 drop of concentrate, 4 drops of saline, and then just take 1 drop of that and put it into the eye cup.
Okay, so 1 drop of the super concentrate, 5 drops of the saline, and then put it in the eye cup. That's what I hear you say?
No. You take 1 drop, maybe you need two containers here. You need 1 drop of concentrate and 4 drops of saline to put into a little container. And then take 1 drop of that and put it into the eye cup filled with saline water.
So I need 2 containers, okay. And so then I put 1 drop of that into the eye cup.
Right. And
okay,
then
got it.
You do it.
Amazon.
You wash your eye maybe every 20 or 30 minutes in the beginning. You do it and then you can increase the strength. Instead of 1 drop to 4 or 5, you can do 1 drop to 3 drops and so forth. So eventually you can get the 1 drop in the saline in an eye cup.
So in other words, I should get instead of just using 1 eye cup, I need two containers. 2, what you mean, right? 2 eye cups then.
No, an eye cup is not a container.
Okay, I'm sorry.
An eye cup is a little thing that you're going to put on your eye. The container is what
right. I just ordered So okay, I haven't seen it in person. Okay.
You could take the cap off of the concentrate and use that as a container. Put 4.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
I appreciate it very, very much.
Yes.
Anna,
yes.
Anna, I just wanted to tell you, I have enjoyed. You are such a different person than when you first shared online, because you were in such a very, very dark place, and now you sound strong to me. And I prayed for you every time you would speak, and I would just be so proud of you for being so brave to
you're so
come
kind.
out
Thank you.
and say all the things that your experiences, and to share them with us. And you have given me strength through your sharing. I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you so very much, and all good to be yours. Thank you.
So proud of you.
I appreciate you very much, and everyone on this call.
Oh, me too.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Who is next, Chris?
Jeanette.
Jeanette? Hi, Jeanette.
Okay.
Hi, Jeanette. Hello.
I muted myself. I have 2 things to say. One thing is, wouldn't it be easier just to buy a small squeeze container, like I don't know, after an ounce or 2, of saline solution, which is sterile, and put the concentrate drop in there? And then I use that rather than eye cups, because you have to keep sterilizing eye cups, and it's worked for me. The other question was...
You don't have to sterilize eye cups. The saline solution is sterile, and the debriding soap kills everything. You just wipe them out.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe put it in a Ziploc bag if you're worried about it getting reinfected, but nothing's going to live in it.
I just find using the drops easier for me, maybe because I'm weird, I don't know. I just like putting my head back and putting the drop in from the saline little bottle that I buy.
Sure.
It seems simpler.
That's a good solution.
Yeah, you could do just eye drops instead of the eye wash cup. Sure.
Mhm. Because even I wake up during the night and I have it right by my bedside and I throw a few drops in because I have very dry eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, very
and
good.
I don't know if Anna, I don't know if you have dry eyes, but I was researching cataract surgery as well, and the number 1 cause of surgery fail for a cataract is dry eyes. So you might be aware of that and try to fix that away as well if you have that issue.
Well, one thing for certain, the Nature's Gift hydrates. So if you have dry eye, it's going to help hydrate your eye.
Yeah, that's great. Your drops are a miracle. That's great. Thank you. My question for Anna is, did the prescriptions help that the doctors gave you for your eyes? I don't know if you're allowed to name them. And the second thing is, did you notice any neon lights in your eyes? Because I have them, and the people that I've checked in the clinic that I used to have, and now gaining my strength and having a few people come, they also had them, but you have to know how to look. And you're absolutely right. The ophthalmologist will not see it because they're not trained in that way. I have many people go to them and they don't see it, but it doesn't mean that it's not in their eyes. So the question is, do you know if you have very small neon lights in your eyes?
You said Anna, but do you mean Jan?
Yeah, Jan.
Jan,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yes.
I don't. I'm not aware, or I've never seen anything like that in my eyes.
Okay. I'm glad. I'm
And
hoping
you know
that
what's
they're not there.
strange? What just your remark made me think of this. The ophthalmologist, they put drops that were colored. It was a bright yellow
Right.
in my eyes, and you could clearly see parasites coming out of my eyes. when those drops, because they colored them, and I'm like, how
all right.
can anyone
Well, I'd
not
like
see
to then
that?
make a third statement because I have in my immediate family many MDs and physician's assistants. They cry over their patients that they can't help them. They are not being trained. So I think we got to go upline and not blame so much the doctors, even though I know many can be so arrogant and ignorant. But if they're not being trained, the government suppresses all this stuff. So I feel very badly if people have that attitude.
Yes.
I know it's true. I've come across it myself.
They're trying
and
to
I really
protect
go.
themselves, I think. Just protect themselves.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that my eye doctor and my regular doctor both prescribed erythromycin eye drops for me, and they helped tremendously.
Oh, that's great. I'm writing that.
And there was another prescription, also tobramycin, that also, it burned a little bit because it was killing things, but it was amazing. It really helped tremendously. So if you can get an eye doctor to prescribe one of those two things, they will help.
Yeah, I do have friends that are ophthalmologists as well, and I'm familiar with the toberacin that kills bacteria. And as far as I know, you take it for 3 days, but the erythromycin I didn't know about.
Well, I mean, you only take it for 3 days if you have something that's going to cure in 3 days. I have had to take it much longer than that.
Okay. You're right. We're all different. Thank you for reminding me. I just like to get off of drugs as soon as they can, and once it was cleared, I was actually harming my eyes on the 4th day, and the nurse was able to give me
I mean, mine were really bad, so it took...
Oh, mine are too. I believe I'm losing my vision, yeah. Yeah, mine are very... Especially my left eye, so... Yeah. So I'm asking for prayers, too, and I pray for all of you and care very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for coming on and asking a question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who is next?
I first found out about you about a week ago when I couldn't sleep, and I read about online Morgellons because actually I have a question with the protocol, but I just want to give you a little bit of history. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So about a year ago, I decided to do an intense parasite cleanse. And
that could be a mistake.
Well, yes and no. I don't think it's a mistake because I don't want parasites sucking off me. However, I overdid it, and what happened is I blew up like a balloon. I was unrecognizable. And then I broke out in this horrible rash all over my body that I now know was a breakout of parasites trying to get out, right?
Oh, yes.
Not necessarily. It's hard to say what that was about.
Well, I don't know, but this is my assessment. So this was a year ago, and it took me like 3 weeks to get down to like my normal size, and I just stopped doing everything. And then I found this naturopath near where I live, and he helped to calm my system down and so on and so forth. And then, but what happened is the rash never went away. The rash, it was on my hands and legs. It calmed down. It got a little better, but it was always like an open sore, right? So then I started taking, like last October, some zeolite, and that helped the rash to go away. And then my rash went away, and everything was fine until April, and I went to the beach in California. I live in Michigan, but I went to California, and I was at the beach, and I broke out in these little round like rashy rings all over my arms, wherever the sun was shining, right? And it felt irritable and irritating. So anyways, I kept taking the zeolite, and it went away. And then, I put oxygenated olive oil on it is what happened, and that helped. But this time I put oxygenated olive oil on, and I could feel movement. I could see movement on my face. I could see like they were like whiteheads, but they would move around, like little all over my face and arms. So then I got freaked out, and I put a little bit of peroxide on my skin just to see what would happen. And I could feel movement, and I could see these whitehead things. Okay, so anyways, I went to somebody else, and they're like, you have scabies. So I a long time ago, my son had lice, and I got this natural lice solution. So I called the place, and I got this oil for scabies, which is actually the same oil you have, the peppermint, lavender, tea tree clove, all of that with neem. And I'm taking a bath. So what they said is, because I thought I had scabies, so it said to take a bath in this oil with the neem oil, and then spray yourself with this enzyme. It comes with some kind of enzyme. And it worked really great for lice. 24 hours I was done with lice. So I'm like, okay, cool. So this was in May. So I've been doing that for 2 months, taking a bath once or twice a day with this essential oil concoction, and then spraying myself with enzymes and all of that. I discovered your products or your thing, and I'm reading the online book, and I started with the soap. I think it was Thursday night I got it, and I took a bath, and it helped to calm my skin down. I guess my question is, I mean, I'm reading the book, I'm taking notes, that kind of thing. My question is, I feel like there's so much information. I feel so overwhelmed. I'm a nervous wreck. My nervous system is just, oh my God, and as you all know. But so I want to make sure that I'm doing this right, because so what I'm doing is I'm taking a bath with the 2 capsules. The other thing is, if we could get your product sooner, like going through the mail, it takes too long. Is there a way to overnight it, like with FedEx or something like that?
Yeah, I believe they can be overnighted, but it's extremely expensive. Gosh, it could probably cost like $50 to do a small package. Well,
yeah, I guess maybe with FedEx or something like that, not through the post office. I don't know, because see, now I ordered more products because the soap helps. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to take a week. I'm not going to get them, blah, blah, blah. That's my thing. Anyway, that was just a question.
Sure.
Because I only have the 4-ounce bottle, right, and I've already taken these baths. I only have a little bit, so I'm like, well, I'm just going to take 1 bath a day, and then I'm going to spray myself because I don't want to use all my product before I get my next product, right?
Right. You want to...
Little?
And, I'm glad you asked that question, because I wanted to ask Jan that question, as she felt overwhelmed with the program at some point and how she dealt with it. Jan?
Oh, look, what is your highest concern? I mean, the fastest way you're going to get help is if you get on the diet and you're very strict with it. I mean, very strict. And you watch everything that you're eating and read all the ingredients and everything.
Okay,
so
I will tell you, but please listen.
Okay, get on the diet and take your bath with a debriding soap and soak in your showers. And you don't have to focus on anything. It's going to begin to work for you. It's going to work for your skin, because the debriding soap gets rid of the parasites so your skin can heal. Your body knows when these things, your body is your immune system is working so hard to fight off these parasites and what they're doing to your body. And when you rid your body of with debriding soap from these parasites, it's like a vacation. And then, you know, your body, your nerves you're more calm. And the more stressed out we get, the more fear we have, the worse the situation becomes, because we are body, mind, and spirit to heal. And so if your mind is constantly thinking, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Be calm, first of all. Be calm and know that you're in touch with someone that has helped so many people get their life back, and you are going to find the answer for you through him and through the book and through the diet and the debriding soap. Everything will be fine. You're going to be fine. You just stay on the diet. Your body's going to just kick into gear. Your body's fighting for you. Every single minute your body is fighting for you. So you're going to fight for your body by eating what you're supposed to eat and cleansing your body. And then your immune system will just take over and pick up, and you'll start having energy.
I think that's excellent advice, and the most important thing is the stress. And because we're stressed, it's difficult to concentrate, difficult to remember.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is my
Can I say something? Can I interrupt for 1 minute?
Sure.
So I had undiagnosed Lyme for 20 years, and I had a full body rash for the whole time that I barely controlled. And when I got on antibiotics for Lyme, because I was bedridden, after 2 months it went away. But Richard has written a book, Lyme Doesn't Have to Own You, and when you take larger doses of the Max 1 and the Garcillin, I think that's going to get rid of the rash. You need to do the other things. It's true. You need to do the diet. You need to do the bathing. You need to deal with the environment. But something like that rash, I would go directly to the Max 1, the Garcillin, and Richard's little booklet. Just saying.
Wow. Yes.
I already so when someone told me it was scabies and they said you need to be on garlic, okay, fine. I was taking 4 garlic, and then when I heard
Garcillin is so much better, okay? And Garcillin has 2 stages.
Yes,
you take Garcillin 1, and when you're up to 6 pills at one time, then you go to Garcillin 2.
Okay.
Right? You know that?
I do.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is I heard the YouTube video which said that the Garcillin is better than the garlic, and I have ordered it. So I get that.
But get the Max 1. The Max 1 is even more important.
Okay, so...
And you should try 3 pills 3 times a day.
Pardon me?
Yeah, the supplements really kick things into high gear, and it can be overwhelming in the beginning, which is why we have this program. So don't expect that you're going to remember everything, because we know that all of us are suffering from brain fog. I mean, last week we even have looked at a way that many people, when they read the book, it's difficult to read to remember. So there's actually...
Well, it's just a lot of information, you know, and so It's like, you do this, you're disinfected, and then you're already stressed out. But I think I got a handle on that. But the point, I guess what I'm asking is, I have a question, because it says so I add the disinfectant to the bath, along with the 2 capsules of the soap.
Right.
And the disinfectant can be either the essential oil combination or the MMS, which I have MMS, so I can add that with the soap. Is that correct?
Yes, you could. Chapter 3 has a whole list of all of the different disinfectants that you can add. It even tells you which you can mix together and which to avoid. Yeah. In other words, don't mix an acid and a base. Don't mix vinegar with baking soda kind of things and stuff like that. So, and peppermint oil is a fantastic disinfectant. It's inexpensive. So when you mix it, you mix the peppermint with the Nature's Gift before you put it in the bath. That way it won't be floating on top as much. So chapter 3, like Jan said, she refers to the book constantly. She's got one upstairs and one downstairs because there's so much information in there. It is overwhelming. And you can even, there's an app that you can use that it can even read the book to you, so you don't even have to read it. It can verbalize it to you. So we have all the resources here. Just keep coming back. It all fits into place, and before you know it, you'll be one of our coaches.
But
wait, can I say one more thing? I just have one question to get me through for
Sure.
a week.
Okay.
The other question is, I'm taking my bath. I'm disinfecting my, bath as well, putting the disinfectant stuff in. And then I get out of the bath, and then would I just spray more soap on? Would I put essential oils on?
Okay.
Would I use the enzyme cleaner?
After you get out of the bath, we recommend you go to the shower. And in the shower, we have bar soap. We have the sulfur bar, and we just got our mineral bar back in stock. So you can wash off with one of our bar soaps, or we have many liquid soaps. We have peppermint, we have lavender, we have rose. So you can use any of our soaps. It's got Nature's Gift in it, and you just wash off and then get out of the bathtub. Now, if you're dealing with Morgellons in the beginning, you're going to use maybe paper towels to pad off and dry yourself and throw them away until you get to a point where you can use regular towels and disinfect them in your laundry. So then at that point, you can use diluted Nature's Gift, what we call as body wipe, and you can spray that onto your skin. You can use some of the essential oils. It talks about it in the book, and you can apply that. You can use Claudia's Dream Cream. You can use our skin lotion, which is phenomenal. So you can use any of those products to apply to any areas that where you may have rash or lesions or anything that you want to deal with directly, or anytime. When you leave and you go out, you got the little pen spray bottle. You take that with you. If you feel a little itching on your knee or your ankle, you spray it on there and you massage it in to give you relief until you get to the next bath.
Okay. All right. So, well, then I read about the enzyme, right? The Clean 'em Up enzyme.
Right.
When does that come in?
Well, you can use that to disinfect your home. You can spray it. The inexpensive thing to do is use ammonia. You buy ammonia in the store. It's $2.50 a gallon, maybe $3 now with inflation. I don't know. And you can spray that full strength. You can spray your bedding, your couch, your living space with that. If that doesn't work, you could up the game. So the idea is you start out with ammonia. And if that doesn't work, the chapter 3 has a lot of different things. You're up the game to use the Clean 'em Up zymes. We have thyme disinfectant. We have electrostatic sprayers. Everybody has different organisms. Some of them are more easily dealt with than others. So that means some organisms are more resistant. So if whatever you're using isn't working, then you have to up the game according to the instructions in the book. There are even triple pesticide. There's in the book you'll read about Robin added 2 ingredients to it to make it the zinc pesticide. So you up your game until you eradicate the organisms from your environment. You need to, if you're dealing with HVAC systems where you have air conditioning, they're in your air ducts, you need to get it cleaned, to get it disinfected. You can spray the electrostatic sprayer into it, you can spray ammonia into it. You have to experiment. You can have them professionally cleaned and disinfected as well.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of information in chapter 3, so you got to go through it all and refer to it constantly. People, dog ear the book. They put Post-its in it. So they're constantly referring to it because you make one little mistake, make one little slip up, and you're reinfected. And you lose a couple of days of progress.
Right, right.
So in the beginning, it's like you're walking on a fence 6 feet tall, and it's maybe only an inch wide. And as you work the program, that fence gets wider and wider and wider until it's about 2 feet wide and you can't fall off.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
And
the best part is that she's here. She's here. So she's on her way to getting her life back.
That's right. You're here. That you took the first step. Keep coming back.
Yeah.
Robin, how instrumental was this program for you in getting your life back?
Totally instrumental.
Totally instrumental. You know, we have over, 7,000 people on our mailing list, and we only have between 32 to 60 people take advantage of this program every Sunday and come here. I don't understand that because the answers are here, the support is here, the inspiration is here, the testimonies are here. You hear real people. It's real experiences. You will get your life back. You just need to keep coming back until you get it right.
Yeah. Okay.
Could I say that any differently?
Thank you.
I hope we get to see her next week to see how she's doing.
Absolutely. So, and you know you don't have to pay $30 to attend this program.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
The book is free. The diet is free. All information is free. And we have the best products in the world. Okay. Well,
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
So thank you. Jan, I want to thank you so much again for sharing your experience. And yes, we're here.
Thank you. I have it.
Okay, that concludes this segment.